All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Welcome to another episode of Code Live. My name is Mohith. I'm a developer advocate here at Salesforce. And again, I want to welcome everyone here. I'm also excited about today's topic because today we are going to deep dive into Apex for Prompt Builder. So I just asked a question in the chat like, how many of you have played with Prompt Builder? Looks like not a lot of you. So I'm really excited that you'll be able to learn some Apex. How many of you are Apex developers today joining? All right, feel free to use those chat and convey if you're an Apex developer and you've worked with Prompt Builder. If not, don't worry. This episode is for you. All right, with that. Let's actually hello Sunrose, Shrestha, hello Nikit, hello everyone. Thank you again for tuning. With that, I want to start sharing my screen today, and let's see where we are with this. So let's actually share my screen, and then we'll go from there. So hopefully you all can see my screen. There it is. Just want to put the right layouts there. So hopefully you're able to see my screen now. And today I have created a pocket guide because what I want to do today is start with the fundamentals, really focus on those fundamental aspects, understand them, kind of work with you, and then probably we'll go into the coding exercise and do a little bit of coding. So to begin with, right, I want to start off with prompt builder. Like, what is prompt builder, and what is its significance, right? So prompt builder is a tool that we created here at Salesforce, and that lets you add generative AI capabilities to your already existing applications. Using the power of of course prompts. So it allows you to create these prompts, build, test, and manage these prompt templates, and then use these prompt templates within your workflow, like using Salesforce flows or Apex that we will see now. But here's the thing, right? Like, what are these prompts? Like, what does that prompt do, right? So, in simple words, right, a prompt is basically a set of questions or instructions, that you provide to a LLM or large language models. So these large language models, have been now for 2 years now. I mean, they have been here for some time, but since 2 years, it kind of picked the traction, and everybody wants to explore. In fact, everyone is building a lot of things with these large language models, including agents and whatnot, right? Because these large language models have the capability to reason like us as humans reason out things. So they can reason out, they can understand our language, they can generate content, they can generate text, all of these capability. But how do you actually generate these texts? Is by providing these questions. So these are known as prompts, right? So these are prompts. So now prompts, to manage these prompts and create it, right? That's why we have prompt templates or prompt builder, because this allows you to kind of manage these prompts. Because what you want to do as a best practice is create them and manage it in a single place as a template, right? The template is a common software engineering best practice where really what we do is reuse certain things, right? So that's prompts for you. And again, there are links here. I will share these resources here. There are a lot of Trailhead module links that I've added, the video links that I've added here, and I'll share those with all of you towards the end of this session, so you have resources to this. And then the other thing that I want to talk about today is prompting techniques, right? Again, writing this prompts, to get a response or to ask large language models to generate text, right? Is an art in itself. It's a completely different branch that has got created now called prompt engineering. And there are various techniques to do that. By default, the instructions that you provide is called zero shot prompting. If you have read a lot of articles on a large language model, you'd have come across these terms called zero shot prompting. So zero shot prompting is something that you just specify the instructions to the large language model, nothing special, right? Now there are a few more techniques here, like few shot prompting, where what you do is you provide few examples to large language models, and then basically based on those examples, the large language model is able to reason out and give you better responses. So that's one of the techniques. There are more techniques here, like chain of thoughts, tree of thoughts, graph prompting, lot of things. In fact, I've also shared a useful resource. Let me share that resource with you and kind of show it to you how you can basically learn more about these techniques, because I think these techniques here are very very important from a understanding perspective. Like writing prompts is definitely a task in itself, kind of thing, right? And there are various again techniques to do this. So here, let's see if I can share my screen again and share the other tab where I want to show the prompting techniques. So this is a great resource that I often use, where you can learn more about various prompting techniques like zero shot prompting, few shot, chain of thoughts. This is a great resource that I use to learn about these different prompts. Again, this is a topic in itself, and definitely I, along with team members here, will produce some content around this. It's not one of the the primary aim, I would say, for this session today, right? Because we want to explore more of Apex and stuff, right? But I still wanted to share a lot of things like that. The other thing that I wanted to share today with everyone is prompt examples. So there are also prompt writing examples that we have created in our documentation, so that can give you a good boilerplate code to understand, or boilerplate examples, I would say, to understand how to write good prompts. In fact, I think this is a really very interesting so let's share it to you and show. So here you can see there's an example prompt template library that we have created here. So a lot of you are actually asking me. So this is the prompting technique that I wanted to show, and then let me share the other tab where I wanted to share the. Today the screen sharing is gonna be a little rough. Bear with me because I don't have the luxury of my second monitor. But here you can see this is a great resource for um, the example, prompt template library. So there are a lot of examples here that you can read about. So we share definitely a lot of examples here. Now, a lot of you are already asking me some great questions here, like what licenses requires, what are some of the prerequisites for that, right? So you don't have to worry, because I think I have covered them in this documentation that I have. So here you can see, uh, you know, there is this licensing trailhead module. It's called Einstein pricing. So you can take a look at that module, and it will tell you like pricing requirements. Now you can also access prompt builder trial org via the link here. Again, I'm going to share this with you all. So this trial org, you get it for 5 days from Salesforce for free, where you can enable prompt builder and practice writing some prompts. In fact, we are conducting some hands-on workshop as well, so you can find that information on our YouTube as well. With that, somebody is asking, does it use LangChain in the back end? Niket, I don't know for sure what we use in the back end, but it's brilliant piece of software already working for us. Okay, so with that, right, I don't want to waste a lot of time going through the materials. Another thing I wanted to highlight was, handcrafting prompt templates is great, but then there are tools already that are helping in like automating this creation. Like one of the things that I found it over the internet very interesting was Think GPT. This can help write some of the prompts using chain of thought prompting technique, or other prompting techniques as well. DSPy is another one, another my favorite. Helps you to manage those prompts again. Kind of makes it very declarative way of writing these prompts if you don't want to manually write, and these tools automatically optimize the prompt for you. So something that you want to explore. Again, this is not the topic for this specific specific code live, so I don't want to focus on the prompting techniques and the prompt, but I just wanted to cover the basics of fundamentals, right? The other thing I wanted to cover, or at least talk through today, was like how LLMs can be made ready for enterprise apps, right? So these LLMs, large language models, also have this, I would say, capability called hallucinations. I mean, some people call it as feature, some people call it as bug. It just depends on how you think about it. But hallucinations, basically, where a large language model dreams and produces inaccurate results, right? Now, for enterprise applications, in my personal opinion, this can be a really negative, because you want accuracy in your application, right? But the way you can get rid of these hallucinations is by making sure you provide a lot of information and the context in the prompt itself, and that process is called grounding. And today I will show you some examples of grounding as well, as we showcase, right? So that is about the grounding. And then I also wanted to say is one of the things that you should always be aware of when using these large language models is some of these have their own applications, like let's say chat gpt free version, right? If you put any information over the chat gpt can learn itself from that information. So that means, if you have any private data, maybe you are leaking that on a large language model, which you shouldn't be, and somebody can access it. So that's one of the I would say, again, a negative feature, or let's say a disadvantage of using LLMs, right? So you have to take care of security, and that's why at Salesforce we have built Einstein trust layer, which kind of ensures that you're not leaking information into, even though you're providing these prompts, these information, right? You're not leaking that data to the LLM. So the way we do it is we mask the information for you, and we filter out any essential information. So no, and also we have a contract with all of these large language model vendors that we use to make sure that they are not retaining any of our data. That's why your data is secure, and we mask any PII information. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that you make use of these capabilities of large language model, like for text generation, summarization, filling out the forms, generating code, and a lot of these a lot of these I would say capabilities, like generative AI capabilities, that we want to break into the application. All right, now enough of theory and talk and whatnot, right? We really want to get into coding today. And to do that, right, let me bring up my org right now. And then today, as a part of this, right, as a part of this, what I want to do is show you a prompt template, and then show you how you as an Apex developer can ground these prompts, meaning you can query the information from various objects within Salesforce, perform business logic, and then feed that data into the prompt itself, or resolve that prompt, right? And then how you can like invoke these prompt templates in your application, through Apex, through the connect APIs that we have. So my focus is to cover these two aspects of it, so that you as an Apex developer completely get equipped with that. All right, with that, I want to log into the org here. So bear with me for a moment. I think I have the org with me. So let's give a shot. And here we go. Let me actually start sharing this tab. So here it is, the lighting experience tab. So you can see this new summer. We are already in summer, right? So new, summer 24 org. I think I'm not sharing. Just a moment here. There we go. Here it is. I will refresh again to showcase that this is that new org that I'm talking about. Um, all right. So with that, right, let's actually take a look at how you can enable. First, we'll talk about how you can enable prompt builder, right? So to enable that in your Salesforce environment, just type Einstein Generative AI, right? Within that, you will see what we call it as prompt builder. So once you enable that, you should see prompt builder. So if you have right org with right licenses assigned, you should be able to see what we call it as prompt builder, right? And then what are the permission sets that you need to have? So I want to show you that as well. So to show you that, let's actually click on the users here. So let's actually go and look at some of the permissions that I have. So you will need permission set called prompt template user. Um, and the prompt template manager. So again, prompt template user is any user who wants to make use of the capabilities of prompt template. Like let's say you have sales reps and they are using Salesforce and they are using these prompt templates within the email creation, right? So they'll need this prompt template user permission set. And then prompt template manager is someone who has the capability to create these prompt templates. So these are the two permissions that you need. So once you have all of them, right, then you create the prompts using the prompt builder. So what we have is when you actually go here and say new prompt template, there are different types of prompt templates that you can see. So any questions, feel free to use chat here. So that's why I will know that you're all here and attentive as well. So here you can see there are different type of prompt templates. So in my org, I have field generation, flex, and record summary. Now there is a license again that I think my org doesn't have this org, but if we allocate that, that will give you the email template type as well. So there are primarily four different types of prompt template types that you can have. Field generation is for, let's say, when you have a field where you want to use a prompt template to automatically generate data for that. Like for example, if you need account description to be automatically filled, right, you can use field generation type of template. Again, there is some configuration for that. I don't want to get into details of that, but there are workshops that we are conducting where we can dive deep into that. I want to focus on Apex today, just FYI. And then Flex template is my favorite because it's flexible, right? It allows you to flexibly create. It's not tied to a specific thing like field description or in the case record summary. So record summary is where you can say, you can summarize a particular record of a specific object type, right? So that's for record summary. And then we have email templates as well for email generation, but today we're going to focus on actually flex templates, right? So I have already created a flex template called bike promotion newsletter template, and I want to show you this. It just takes some time to load up. But what this prompt template is doing is, so first thing, again, what I'm doing here is I'm asking this prompt to um, to act as a marketing manager. So this template we are using to generate a promotional email letter, right? Promotional email letter. Now this is a great use case for a prompt template, right, or a prompt, because it can be like, generation, text generation is one of the use cases, and it can be creative, like it can generate these marketing templates and whatnot. Large language models are capable of that. So what we're doing here is I'm saying you're a marketing manager of this retailer company. We want you to generate a promotional newsletter for a bike. And then I want to provide this context. Remember, this context is what is important to the large language model, and that's what going to reduce hallucinations, right? If you don't provide this information, it will just randomly generate, and then you have to manually swap it out, right? And that's the process we want to make it easier, right? So here you can see bike name, and again, like merge templates we can access. So this flex template that I created, I made sure that this flex template is for this object called product. Again, I can name it on my own. So I named it as bike, because bike is nothing but my products here in this case is e-bikes. This company is selling a lot of bikes, so different types of bikes here. So I just provide all the information like bike name, material, family, description, whatnot. These are all coming from my CRM, right? And then finally, instructions with a backtick. So we can separate these instructions out. And then I want to say, how do I want my content to be? Like, so use concise language, generate the subject line, content body, include the picture, whatnot, make the picture has a card layout with border of the card round shape. I want to specify how my image should look like. So all of these, right? And I want like related, but like I want this email to be intelligent enough, or newsletter to be intelligent enough to show some recommended bikes as well. So you can see that I'm providing all those instructions here in the form of prompt templates. And then the beauty of this is you can also say the output format should be in HTML. So I provide the HTML format. So this is how I want my output. So that's the beauty of these prompts, because these large language models can also transform data to the format that developers love. For example, HTML or JSON, you can ask for them, and that's completely to me a game changer, because me as a developer, I can ask for things to auto generate these HTML and then plug into my Lightning Web Component and whatnot, right? So that to me is exciting. So here we can actually test this out. So let's actually test this out. And to test this out, I can provide a sample data. Like in my case, I have a bike called Dynamo X4, so I can preview. So now what this is doing is, again, it is basically taking these prompts, grounding it with Salesforce data, sending into a large language model through our secure layer, making sure that we mask all the PII information. We remove toxicity and stuff. Like if you add any toxic information to this, we want to make sure we take it out from here, right? So Einstein trust layer has different layers, so it's going through those layers. Then you will see that finally it will resolve and render the output. Now this has a lot more instructions, so but you can see it actually responded now. So you can see that here in the resolution. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit here. So you can see in the resolutions here. um, so you can see that the bike name has been resolved, the material, family, all of these things are like resolved with instructions. um, and all of these instructions are resolved, and here is that response. In fact, to see the response, I'm going to copy that response, and probably we'll use the tool. Let me actually stop sharing and then share the right tabs where you can actually see the fun stuff. So okay, so I'm gonna open an online HTML viewer tool so we can view the results here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Share. Um, okay, so here, if I put the response, you can see it generated this beautiful response, right? Introducing the Dynamo X4 state of craft with, powered by all of these information that it got from the CRM, right? And then also you can see that it had to recommend some bikes, but it did not get more those information. So it also has this link and it's functional because I was able to click and navigate through. And then it created the signatures as I expected. So and I'm using what I call it as GPT-4 model. So if we actually look at our model here, um, oh, oops, I think I was not actually sharing. So this was the response again. Um, and if we look at the model here that I was using for this, right? So there is a model type here where you can configure different models. And I was using OpenAI's GPT-4 because GPT-4 has this reasoning capability and much better output format and reasoning and thinking around that. So it actually, it generated the results pretty well, basically. And again, you can configure all of these models as well. That's how our tool is kind of designed. uh, yeah, there we go. So here it is, the model type that I configured. And you can bring in custom models as well, like bring your own large language model. But here is GPT-4 model, and GPT-4 has capabilities for you to basically think well, reason out, and give better responses. So that's our prompt. Now, unfortunately, didn't share screen. Sorry about that. Actually, thanks for actually reminding me. And screen sharing is going to be challenging today for me mentally because I don't have the luxury of my second monitor. So please bear with me. Thank you so much for bearing with me. But let me know in the chats, like if you're not able to see the screen. Again, I hope you're able to see this prompt template now, see the instructions, see how I was able to resolve them, and then see the responses, right? Perfect. So now, having all of these, right now, what I want to do is get into the code here. So really what I want to do is, you see here recommended bikes, right? I want to basically um, use Apex here. So as a part of grounding, you can ground this with, of course, the object that you have configured. So you can ground it with all the object information, including the related objects as well, like related list. You can ground the information from that, or you can ground it via Apex, and the or flows as well. But today we're going to see how you can write Apex to make sure that we can use Apex to fetch data from Salesforce and then ground it within this prompt. So I want to give the recommended bike information to this prompt via Apex. So how about we write some Apex and get into this coding? So let me actually start sharing my screen with the code. Let's see. So share. Now I want to share the window. Okay, let's see. Yes. So, okay, this is gonna be a little tricky. I'll have to share my entire window. Okay, cool. Bear with me. Yeah. All right, so let's actually share here. So you should be able to see my screen. I've connected to that ebikes org that I was showing you where I had the prompt template. And now I'm gonna go ahead and create an Apex class for that. So again, to start, right? So what I've done is I've provided some information, like some sample code to begin with, right? Let's see. Hopefully my screen is being shared. Yeah, every time. There you go. All right. There it is. Okay. Now you should be seeing my screen. So what I've done here is I have provided this grounding prompt templates with Apex. And here you can see that in this grounding prompt templates with Apex, I have a sample code to get you started here. Let's see. Let me know in the chats if you're able to see my screen. Eric or Niket, let's use the chat. Let's see. Can't see the screen share. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Stop sharing. Let's see. Share screen. Okay. Okay, let me share my screen here. Okay. All right. All right. Can you guys now see my screen? You should be sharing. There we go. Let's see if we are able to share my screen. It does say that I'm sharing, so hopefully you're able to see the screen. Just let me know in the chat. There you go. We can see perfect. So now what I want to do is, so as you can, see here, what here is what I want is to ground this whole prompt with Apex. Um, so what I'm going to do is write Apex for that. So to do that, let me actually get into my code editor, and here is the sample code. So if you go here, right, I have provided a sample code here. So this is an example code that shows how to ground prompt templates with Apex. So we're gonna copy this code, and then I'm gonna go through this code line by line, just and then we'll modify this code. So this is a sample code that I created, so you can basically use it for anything. So I'm gonna call my class as, let's call it as product recommendation prompt template recommendation for prompt template. Let's see. Let me do that. Okay, perfect. It did allow me to do that. So next what I'm gonna do is paste this class that I had as an example. So we'll change the name of this class, get rid of this. Perfect. So the first thing you need is an invocable method. So to expose, right, any Apex class and any method, right, what is important is to make sure that you have an invocable method and then you have a capability type. Now this capability type actually depends on the type of the prompt template. So again, here I have specified that different capability types. So for flex type of templates, I would say what you could do is you could just use this flex template API name. So we could use this. So what I'm going to do here is come back and then put it as flex template and template API name. So template API name, you can get it from here. So you can actually go under settings and look at the API name of this template. And that is very important. So we take this and then come here um, and then put out the template name. So now this class, right, this whole class becomes available in that prompt builder. So I will show you. So this is what establishes the dependency between this Apex class and that prompt template. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do here is configure inputs. So the request and the response, right? So by default, this method, right? So I definitely want to change the name of this method. I'm gonna say get recommended, or I'm gonna say, yeah, get recommended products, right? So what I'm doing is getting recommended products actually. Um, so here what I want to do is this request, right, this request here needs to have an object. So the object for this will be the object that is used in the prompt template. So if we go back to the prompt template here, right, the template type for this, so this is of type. So if we actually uh, so if we actually go back here and look at the setup once again, let's go back to the setup, go back to our prompt templates, prompt builder. Okay, so it's gonna ask which object this is, right? So these product family and bike descriptions, I know that these are. So when you create a flex template, right, you provide the object name basically. And I when I created the template, the name of the object was product underscore underscore C. So that's what we will need here. So we need product underscore underscore C. So we come back here and say this is product underscore underscore C. We don't need this. Now flex template can have more than one objects, okay? But today we need only one object. So this product, now this name is very, very important actually. So this name should be the name that you get it from here. So as you can see the input, so the name of this, so which is called bike actually. So that's important, is to have the same name as you see in the prompt template. Okay, so that is very important to have that information here. Okay, so we go here and then we say bike, and then this is the final response. Now we can go here and say, so this is of product C type. And we can say, instead of input, we can even say this as whatever the product name, right? So input dot, so this will be input dot, it will be this bike, right? So this is the bike that we have. um, and then what do we else what do I have here? So okay, so we need, so this is the bike ID that we can give. So this is an already existing class that I have called product controller. So basically here we have this method called get similar products, where it is actually querying a product object, and by similar family ID and the product ID, it's able to give me the results, give me the related products. Now this, this is the logic that I have to get the similar products. But imagine that you have your own logic, your own business logic that you want to implement here, right? So basically I want to say, and then the product family, again it comes from this bike. So bike dot product family, and then this is where I'm getting all these products and I'm concatenating here in a new line. So all I'm doing is giving the product name and the product URL and the maximum retail selling price, and then adding all of them and then returning the responses here, as you can see. So I think this looks good. Let's actually try to deploy this and then see if it actually resolves. What is it telling? Okay, so this is a very common error that you get, is if you use a capability type, the class version should be at least 60 or higher. So this is a very simple fix. All we need to do is make sure this class is 60 version, and we can use 61 as well because I'm in the newer summer arcs. So I'm going to go again and deploy this. Okay, so we're running into some more issues. What is the issue here? What is the issue? The invocable method is missing the required prompt output for capability type modifier. Okay, it's missing the required output. Let's see, why is it missing the required output prompt? Okay, all right, let's troubleshoot that. The invocable method is missing the required prompt output for capability type modifier. Required output and its data type from these options. So what are the options? So let's actually take this full error and analyze it. It's good we have the errors when we do live streams. Okay, here's the thing. So let's see. Specify the required output and its data type. All right, let's see how we can fix this error. All right, feel free to use chat and add multiple models for the similar type. Will it be the best for these two models and show aggregated response? So there is a question here from Mithul, that what happens if we have multiple models for the same thing. Now we don't aggregate, but then you can use Apex to aggregate them. You can invoke both of these and then use Apex logic to aggregate the responses. All right, let's move on to fixing this error. So the error here says the invocable method is missing the required prompt output for capability type modifier. Specify the required output and its data type from these options string. Okay, let's actually look at this class again. So the response type is of type string, right? And that's the final prompt, right? So here's the response. So we say response equals new response, recommended products. We get the recommended products. We add them to the output response. We concatenate into output and then add the responses back and then return the responses. Okay, one sec. Let's see what is missing here. All right. Let's look at some references classes here. So again, I have added some reference examples that we can take a look at, which we have documented in our guide. And again, this covers a lot more examples of different types. Like Flex is the one that I'm currently using. Okay, so this is for resolving. Okay, this is for resolving the ones. I don't think we need this. Uh, I I think I have the wrong links there. I'll probably correct that links. Bear with me. This is for resolving or invoking prompts, which we'll get into. Just give me a sec here. Let me find out other resources that I have here. All right. All right. So I think the issue here is, so this one, right? If we look at, okay. So what I want to do now is change the case of it and see if it works. So even when you map it, right, the output of this should match. So that means, like, I created input variables, right? There are output variables as well that got created. um, it's very important to match the thing. So let me actually change that and see if that makes a difference here. Let's see if this makes a difference. All right, that was it. So just to highlight, like, what is the issue, right? Let's actually go back to. I want to go back to the prompt builder and show you. So what happens is when you create a prompt builder, right? When you create a prompt. So here in this example, when I'm creating a prompt, right? So let's say I create a flex type of prompt, right? So here, uh, if I say, bike as for example, the prompt. So this is the template name. Let's call it test for now. But here I have to specify the object. So in this case, when I picked up product object, I have to specify the API name. And this case is also very important. And for, I think for the output, I think it always needs to be, so it always needs to be of uh, a variable which is called prompt, and the case is very important for that. I think that is one of the issues. If you lowercase this, you will see that it actually gives you the error. So very important, something that I just learned myself. All right, so I think we are now on the right path. So we're going to go back here, and instead of the document, so let me actually refresh now that we have saved it. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do here is this recommended bikes, right? This could be a data that's coming from Apex. So here we say Apex, and this is the one product recommendation for prompt template. So this is what I just created my Apex class. Then I'm gonna save this, and then we're gonna activate, and then see what happens. So it's saving. Let's activate. All right, now let's actually look at the bike response. So I'm gonna go here and say Dynamo X4, and here just preview the response. So hopefully now we will get a better response with even the recommended product. So just to summarize what I did, right, I was able to ground this prompt now with Apex. And the way we did this is by creating an Apex class and giving it a capability for flex template type, and then specifying the API name of the prompt template that we created. And then basically the output.prompt, this can be anything that actually goes and merges with the entire prompt. So we could say output.prompt equals recommended products. And then I queried all these products by providing the ID and the family. So I'm concatenating and creating a final prompt string. Now this string basically got added here, and you can see that now when you look at the instructions, right? If you look at the recommended products here, um, you can see that the product name and the picture is coming for all the different X Dynamo type of family, right? So I have three products that I got it from Apex by using Apex. And now if you look at the responses here, right? And if we view this in view the response, you can see that it's also recommending the products here. It's recommending like all these other products too. It has created cards like this, right? And it's creating it's giving the exact responses, basically. um, so that's that's in nutshell like how you can resolve. And one important aspect of this is whenever this prompt resolution is happening, it runs as a integration user. So if you are doing a debug log with this, it always runs as the platform integration user. um, so always make sure that you trace flag as a platform integration user, or you can trace the class itself. So make sure that you add the class. So in this case, we called the class as what's the class name that we created. I think our class name was prompt template recommendation, right? So we create this class and add the debug levels and save. So now if if the resolution happens, like for example, if we say Dynamo X4, and if we preview it, we should see a log as integration user. Feel free to use the chat to ask any questions. Meanwhile, while this debug is happening, so what I want to see is some debug statements here. It's still resolving. Okay, it did resolve. So let's see if there are debug logs here. Okay. All right. Let's give it a try. Let's add as a platform integration user. I think I did not add as a platform integration user. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's give it one more time and see the logs as integration user. So whenever you are debugging your Apex, make sure that you have logged as a platform integration user, and I think it should show up. All right, so we have 10 more minutes, and I want to get into the next thing that I wanted to show. So next thing that I want to show was how do you invoke prompt templates via Apex. So to do that again, in the Apex developer guide, we have given some examples of how you can invoke them. Um, and you can follow those examples. I want to show how you can invoke them here. Let's see. So it did resolve. First, let's see the logs, if the logs were successful or not. Looks like the logs are not coming in. This could be a bug. This could be a bug where we are not able to see the logs. All right, I will talk to engineering team on that, on why we are not able to see the logs. Um, yeah, we should have been able to see the logs, but for some reason, it's not appearing, which can make it really tedious to debug unless you are like using anonymous Apex and whatnot to debug it. So let's see, logs are not there. So this could be a bug. Let me file a bug with the team to see why logs are not appearing. But remember that if the logs come, they should come as a platform integration user and not as yourself. Maybe I'll add myself too, and let's see what happens. Let's do one more try before we kind of go and look at other options or ping engineering here. So we go add as myself and save it, and let me actually go resolve it. Let's go resolve this. Dynamo Export, preview it, and hopefully this time we see some logs. If not, this could be a bug. All right, so let's keep doing. So let's keep working on our next thing. Next thing I want to show you is how do you invoke these prompt templates, right? So again, I can start with the sample example here. So let's actually take this code, and I want to use a little bit of um, anonymous script to actually do the debugging. Or so we'll go here and let's actually go to the scripts folder. Let's go to here. So let's do this. So we're gonna go here. So you need the prompt template developer name again. That is very, very important here. So again, what I'm doing now is, so what we saw was how to ground it with Apex, right? Now we are trying to invoke that. That means, whatever the execution happens, right? I want to invoke that execution and see the responses basically that's coming from the prompt templates, right? So let's actually, so for that you have this connect API access, so that will allow you to invoke the prompt templates. But to start with, you need the prompt template developer name here. So we go here and then get back the prompt template developer name. I did see, I also want to see whether the logs are coming or not, even as myself. Okay, they finally showed the logs. So it did run as myself. Okay, so I could see, so you could see that Apex running. So I think when you're running this within the application, it runs as your user, so you should be able to see the logs. I don't think it runs as a platform integration user. So that's some correction here. So we were able to get the logs here finally. Okay, so the next part that I was doing, right? So let's actually close this, and then the next part that I was doing, right? So we need the template name, and again, you have to go to the settings to get the template name. So we go here, we get the template name. So I go here and put the template name. Um, so David is asking, when you make changes in the Apex class, are those affected in the template? It should be, David. It should be affected. If not, just reach out to me via my email or Twitter, David, and I will make sure to follow up. They should be propagated. Just refresh it, and they should be automatically reflected. And again, I can look at your case. Pretty. So we need the prompt template name, and then what else do we need? So we need the ID, the input. You have to put the ID here. So the ID. So in this example, it's just for playing purposes, right? So what I want to do is just take that DynamoDB examples and hard code it. So again, I'm hard coding because I just want to show you the functionality. And again, you can put these blocks of code that I'm showing into an actual Apex class. Just in the interest of the time, I want to show you how to call a prompt template from Apex. So how about we go into one of these products called Dynamo X4 and get the ID. So here we go, we get the ID. uh, and then where was it? So here we put the ID, hard coding for the timing, and here it should be the input. Again, you can get this input by going to the settings. So going to template details, as it says, the input should be bike. So we go here and put the input here as bike. So this is, so just to explain you all, right, what we are doing here is invoking the prompt templates. You need these connect api wrappers. You need to provide the context, like which id, right, the record id that you are working with this prompt template. And then from there you can configure hyperparameters, like for example, things like if you want to enable pii masking or not, application name, and the application name is always constant. It's always needs to be prompt builder preview name. That's constant always. It's going to be always constant. Unless you are an ISV, we are still working on that process of what that would look like. And then you use this method called connect API dot Einstein LLM dot generate messages from prompt template. Put the prompt template developer name and the prompt generation input, which has the hyperparameters, like num generations, right? Number of generations you want. You can say two, it will generate two different responses. If you say one, it will generate one. Application name, which is constant. If you want to enable PII, so this should probably just work now. So let's execute. So it's actually running. It's taking some time. That means it's actually running. Any questions so far from anyone? It's taking some time because you saw that the prompt resolution did take some time. Again, this is a bigger prompt actually. We are still working on some of the performance enhancements that we'll make here. Um, but we should still see the execution happen right now. We should be able to see the debug. So there you go, it actually executed successfully, and you can see that we got the response. Yay. So we got the response, as you can see. So you see you're able to, like, call these and get the responses. Now we can easily integrate, because this is HTML, you can integrate into your Lightning Web Components, right? And again, imagine, you have these responses from generative AI. You can format them into JSON or HTML, right? Take that unstructured data back, convert them into structured data, and integrate into your application. So this opens up a whole world of possibility. So with that, right, I hope you all learned something interesting. I want to share this resource with you all. So let's actually stop sharing, and then here's the resource for everyone. So I pasted here in the chat. That's a guest, and you can read out. It has all the resources that I wanted to share today with you all. It has sample examples and the code that I used today. And as you can all see, right, we covered very important things today. We covered how to use Apex to ground your prompts, and then how to invoke these prompt templates and use it in your application using the connect in Apex classes, and using this new class called Einstein LLM. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Feel free to use the chat. Let me know how it went. Happy to share resources. I've already shared the resources via the chat. Hopefully, it was a great experience and you learned something new. With that, I will see you in the upcoming Code Live episodes. And till then, take care and have some fun.